What's up, everybody? In this video, I'll be giving you my 3 top lists that I pull in my business every single month that takes 10 minutes or less to pull and can potentially generate 10 plus thousand a month in your business. Make sure you stick through to the end because that last list that I'm gonna mention is very important. Let's get into my computer. All right, so now that we are in my computer, I'm just go over the quick basics of Propstream. So you have your map here. You have up here where you actually put your city or your county that you would like to go in. And for this particular example, I'm just going to use my county, or I can just use my city. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click Charlotte, North Carolina. And the filters is where you can make all the lists that you want to make. But like I said, I'm gonna use the 3 lists that I pull every single month. So let's get into that. So the very first list that I'm gonna pull is a failed listing list. So what I do when I come in here, none of this really matters. So owner occupied, I leave that at any. Occupancy status, I leave that at any. Property characteristics is very important because you don't want to be marketing to multifamily 5 plus unless you want to go after those type of properties. But normally for investors, they're going to be looking to go after multifamily 2 to 4 unit condos / townhomes and single family homes. So those are the ones that you want to check. Those are the boxes that you want to check on the property types. And I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit backwards here, but for the classifications, you want to do residential. I also go in and adjust the year that it was actually built. So my max year normally is around 2016 or earlier. What you can see, everything that you put in is going to show here. Your filters are going to show here. So those are the years that I choose. I mean, you can choose whatever years that you want. If you want to focus on even older homes, that's fine. You can do that. So you can come in here and put 1987. That's going to slim your list down some, but you can come in and put that. But like I said, I always choose a couple of years away from my current year, which is 2022. So the next thing that I'm going to go to is MLS status. So in the MLS status tab, the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go under on market and we're going to click no. That is not on market. Listing type, you can click any. MLS status, failed. That's how you create the failed listing list. That's very, very important. And shout out to Propstream for actually bringing this back because it's been going for a while now. So I'm glad that we got MLS data back. And another thing that's very important is the days that is sat on the market. For my preference, you can do 60 days, 70 days, 80 days. I like to go after 100. Make sure you put it, don't do what I just did. Put in 100 as minimum. So 100, so 100 or more is what I normally go after. Listing amount doesn't matter. Listed below market price doesn't matter. So we done with that tab. We don't do anything in pre-foreclosure. And for ownership info, this is very important too, because when it comes down to skip tracing this list, you don't want to be skip tracing LLCs or trusts or anything. You want to be skip tracing individuals, because if you try to skip trace LLCs, 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you the wrong phone number. Now, what you can do, you can pull a LLC or trust list separately and get somebody to go in and clean it. That's part of pretty much cleaning your data. Get somebody to go in and actually find out the owners of the LLC and then skip trace them. And guess what? There's going to be some money on that list too, because a lot of people are not taking the time to do that. So that's just a gem that I want to give to everyone. If you can put time aside to hire someone to do it, let them go in and clean the LLC data, get homeowners, and then skip tracing. So last sale date doesn't matter, last sale price doesn't matter. So everything else we won't have to worry about. So lien, like that's a totally different list. As you can see, it's so many different lists that you can build. So the next thing that you're gonna wanna go in is the equity info. So in this particular tab, I don't really do that much in this tab, to be honest with you, because I know how to use creative financing strategies such as seller financing and subject to. So no matter if the property only has 10% equity or 15% equity or 20% equity, I don't have to go the cash offer route. I can create creative offers to present to the seller to where I don't have to worry about it being 60 to 70 or 50%, 50 to 60 to 70% minimum equity. I can create a deal no matter what. So I don't really do anything, but this is important too if you don't know how to use a creative strategy. And if you don't know how to use a creative strategy, all you would do is come in. If you want someone that has a house that's free and clear, the estimated equity percentage should be a minimum of 100. So you see how I slimmed the list all the way down? So these are all free and clear properties, but for my particular situation, I'm going to leave it at this, and I have a list of 2,346 records. Now, after you create this list, you can close it out. This is your failed listing list. You will go up here and check the box. You would click add to list, and then you just create a list. Like I said, I'm not going to save this right now. I'm just showing you as an example. But yeah, I'm not going to save it. But as you can see, that is 2,346 records that you can go in, you can skip trace the data, and then it's time to start marketing to the data using the omni-channel marketing presence. If you enjoying this content so far, please hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, because YouTube will push this content out to a larger audience. So please take the time and do that, and let's get back into it. All right, so the next list that we're gonna go after, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go in and reset the filters, right? So it's the same thing. We got Charlotte, North Carolina, which is the area that I'm gonna choose. And the next list is gonna be a pre-foreclosure list. So now make sure you take the time to figure out how pre-foreclosures work in your area. But the way I'm gonna show you how I do it in my area is based off of the upset bid period that we have. So even though we have an auction date, you still have a certain amount of time to upset the bid in my particular county. So a lot of times you still have additional days, even if you see an auction that's going to happen tomorrow. So what I would do, as you can see, it's pretty much the same up top. Your owner occupied, any, occupancy status, any. You will come into the characteristics, residential, single family, condo, multifamily, and that will be it. And the next thing we're gonna wanna do, we wanna go on market, no, under the MLS status. Then next thing we're gonna do, we can go under the pre-foreclosures tab. We're gonna leave this status at all. Then we're gonna go to the auction date. Like I said, I normally go, if it's today's date, the minimum date I want is tomorrow. You see how it's only 61. Now, if you leave this blank, if you don't have anything in there, if you don't have any dates in there, it's going to bring up old pre-foreclosures, and sometimes you might be just wasting your time. So to get the most recent ones, make sure you change that date. So in the next tab I will go to is ownership info, and then I will click individual. So now you can see that we have an individual that's in foreclosure. That property is going to auction tomorrow or at a later date. So we see we have 59 of those, and that is your pre-foreclosure list. Just as simple as that. So now we're going to reset it, because that was the second list, and this last list is my favorite list, and it's so simple because you can easily get these lists and market to these lists and just make offers on these properties. So owner occupied, for this particular list, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a vacant list. So we're going to update the status to vacant. And then, you know what, let's just say for owner occupied, let's just put no. Because of course it's going to be vacant anyway. But we're going to go back into property types. As you can see, it's pretty much the same way in the property classification. We're going to highlight single family. We're gonna check single family, condos slash townhomes, and multifamily 2 to 4. Then we're gonna go over to residential. We're gonna go over to the property classifications and click residential. We're gonna go to MLS status, on market no, because we don't want to deal with properties that's on the MLS. We don't want to deal with properties that's on the MLS. Years of ownership is another one that's very important for vacant lists. So I want them to have owned the property a minimum of 5 years. See how that slimmed that list down? Because most of the time, if it's anybody that has it for less than 5 years, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be motivated to sell just because they're probably picking it up as a rental property, or they may hold on to it for a while and fix it up and put it on the market. They're just not interested in selling at that point. So just to give it a little buffer, I normally do 5 years. And the last thing that you would need to change is owner type. I would check individual. And now you created a vacant list of 442 records. Now, I'm gonna save this for another video. You're still gonna have records left over because as you can see, I probably have what, 3,000 to 4,000 records. So that leaves me with 5,000 records on this list. So the next thing that I would do, I would create an absentee owner list to make sure I utilize my 10,000 records per month. So definitely utilize all 10,000 records. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out my wholesaling playlist right here and hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.